Well, here's the standard question. Any update on Alex or Corey?
Those guys did a little bit more today.
Okay.
Alex didn't do anything contact-wise. Corey did some. So we'll see how they responded from it. They both seemed fine with what they were doing. Whether or not they'll be available tomorrow, we'll probably find out that probably in the morning when we meet again.
Okay.
Billy, they've been over this streak where they've been super hot. Their starting lineup has been unbelievably successful, but when they go small as well and they have Crowder at the fourth, they've been so successful. Why, with those two styles, have they still been able to kind of maintain dominance even with those lineups, even having four similar players kind of having different strategic makeups?
Yeah, I don't know if their style necessarily changes. I mean, they pretty much, I think, play to their identity and how they want to play. Crowder is a very versatile player. On the perimeter, can guard multiple positions. With what they do with Favors and Gobert together, still allows them to play that way. Even though it's a different skill set, they can still kind of play the way they want to play. I think regardless of lineups.
At times, not recently, but at times this team has struggled finishing or just with the easy layups, that kind of stuff. How much more important is that with a guy like Gobert back there?
Yeah, I mean, you want to. I think a lot of times in playoff series, points can be hard to come by. So free throws, finishing, all those things I think become really important. Just in terms of trying to generate points.
What are some of the biggest things you'll have to do on the ball against Mitchell?
Well, I mean, I think from, like in any game, you got to get back in transition. You got to be, early in your pick and roll coverage, communicating and talking. That's important. And obviously, when he's in pick and rolls, it's responsibility of the guard and the big, to work together. But he's a really good attacking guard, in the open floor and in transition. And then obviously with the way he can shoot it, I think his strength, his physicality. So he does a lot of different things for them in transition, in their half court, and then also creating by himself.
Will you have to run Ingles completely off the line in this game?
Well, I mean, I think we've got to play really good team defense, just because they've got, at any given time, they'll have five really, really skilled players on the floor. And Ingles obviously is a great passer and a great playmaker, coupled with the fact that he shoots the ball at a high percentage from behind the line. But again, I think, playing against him with his size and his length and his vision and his ability to see, I think there's a lot more to his game than just him at the three-point line, because, you start running him off the three-point line, he also is a really good creator too.
Billy, speaking of Ingles, you guys have given up, I think, as many corner threes or close to it as any team in the NBA. What's led to that?
Generally it's when there's penetration, when the ball hits the paint, and you get kind of put in rotation. That's one way, and then I think the other way is transition defense. If guys are running and running deep to corners, that's another way to get threes.
So how do you improve on that in the series against Utah to make sure that Ingles hits a ton of corner threes?
Yeah, I mean we got to get back in transition, as I said earlier. Got to do a really good job there, and then I think the other thing that we've got to do is we've got to play good defense collectively as a group. When we are in rotations, we got to rotate well. We got to communicate well on the backside of rotations. And generally when there's penetration. And you're in scrambling and rotations, that's where you're probably most vulnerable to give up threes.
How much changes for guys like Paul and Russell when?
I'm sorry,
how much changes for guys like Paul and Russell when Andre had so many of the possessions against Donovan Mitchell earlier in the season?
I mean, I think anytime you lose a good defensive player, there's always an impact to your team. But with that being said, and I've said this before, I think on missed shots. Based on how they match up against us, based on how we match up against them, you may not have, the guy that's matched up with Donovan Mitchell, maybe if there was a dead ball situation. So we've all got to do a great job collectively guarding them, and it's not just one person playing Donovan Mitchell or one person playing Ingles, or one person playing Favors, Rubio. We got to play good team defense, for the full 48 minutes. So, anytime you have a defender like Andre out, certainly it adds more responsibility to the team.
A lot of people will say home court advantage is really important because role players play better at home. Do you agree with that? Do you see that with this team at all? The bench has been very good the last several games.
I mean, with the way it turned out, a week ago we were fighting and scratching to get into the playoffs. If we didn't beat Memphis, we would be, on the road going to Houston. There was so many different scenarios, I think, for a lot of teams the last week of the season. So for us, I always said this, it was about us, can we play better basketball? Can we play a more consistent brand of basketball? And I think for us, the last week to 10 days, we've done a better job of that. So I feel like going into this, regardless of our bench unit or our starters, I feel like as a team we've played better. Now, can we now come back out again? And I think the way our schedule was set up, we played against a lot of playoff teams the last probably 3 weeks of the season, which I think has been good for us too. I don't think we had a softer schedule. I think we had a really challenging schedule. So I don't think it's necessarily about our starters or our bench. I think it's about all of us collectively as a group.
Really, the battle between Steven Adams and Rudy Gobert. How do you see that playing out? Is that something that's very significant along with all the other things we're talking about with Mitchell and Russ and Ingles and Paul George? What's your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I think probably both players are really, really critical to both teams. You got two guys that are really good rim protectors. Obviously Gobert is an incredible shot blocker at the basket, protects the rim for them. He's a guy offensively that's a really good roller to the basket. He's a guy that sets good screens. He's a guy that frees guys and gets guys open. Steven does similar things as well, for us. I think their styles of their games are a little bit different, but they both maybe do a lot of the same things for both teams. And I think both guys are probably pretty important to both teams.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.